Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Techie Kumar. In this Docker tutorial, we have already discussed about containers. There we discussed about the definition, how it works, and how we can run a container. We used few commands to run or start a container. In this video, we are going to discuss various commands and options regarding container in detail. So let's start this video with first command, which is docker container create. So let's get into the terminal. Okay, before starting with container, first let's verify what are the images and containers are there in my system. So my system is empty and it doesn't have any container or images available. So far we are good. Now we will learn about the first docker command, which is create. So as I have said already, we don't need to remember or memorize the commands. You can take help of the help utility of docker. So I will keep using that in this tutorial. So this is the create command. If I don't know what should be the next after this create, right, I could take the help of help utility, and we have lots of options available how to do that. So you can go through these options and understand and use them as per your requirement. Docker, and one more thing I want to highlight here is, you can see aliases. We are using docker container create. This command works similarly when we use docker create as well. So there is no change. And here you can see the syntax where you can have options. These are the options mentioned below, and then you have to mention the image name, and after that you can pass the command and argument. So let's do that. Okay, so this is the command docker container create hyphen hyphen name. So this would be the name of the container. Hyphen p stands for port, and then I have given the image name. If you want to run any command while running the container, you can specify the command here. For example, if you want to check the date of the system, so you can put like this. Okay, and if your command has some argument, you can put those arguments just next after that, providing a space. If you have multiple arguments, you can provide them by giving a space. So I'm not going to give any command to run, so just hit enter. Now the image is downloaded and container is created. So now we have been using a command docker container ls-a list all the containers including stopped one. So that's why I'm using this command to see whether the container is created or not. So now you can see the container is created 3 minutes ago with the status created, and the name of the container is web server. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to start this container, the next command. So then we will use docker container start, and we need to provide the container id. So we can take help here as well if you are having any confusion. So you can see docker container start, then you have to provide options. These are the options that we can use, and then you have to provide container, either one container or container. If you have multiple containers to start, you can specify them. Okay, so now we are going to start a container, so that's why we will use the container id, or we can use the container name as well. So you can refer a container through name or container id. So now the container is started. If we go and try to verify whether it's up and running or not, we can execute the same command again, docker container ls-a, and we can see the status as up in last 12 seconds, right? And once we started the container, the ports are assigned. This is the port on my local system, which is the MacBook, and this one is the internal port which is running inside the container, right? So application would be accessed on 8081 on my localhost. Now the next command we are going to learn is run command. So I want to highlight one thing here is we have executed docker container create. We didn't do docker pull, right? So whenever we run a create command, it first validates whether the image exists in the local system or not. If it does not exist, then it pulls it from the Docker Hub repository, or maybe in your case from private repository. Okay, so now we learned about create and we learned about start. So we can combine them using another command, which is run. So if we use run command, it does the same thing. It first create the container, and second it starts the container as well. So let's do that thing. So in this command we are going to start a container in which an Nginx will be running, and that will be accessible on 8082 port in my local system. Okay, and this is the image name, and here I have changed the name of the container from web server to web server 1. So if I hit this this command, what it does, it first create the container and then it start the container. So both actions will be happen from one command. So let's see this. So now you can see docker container I executed, and now the container is up and running. Because I haven't provided the -d to run this container in the background, so there is one flag. If we use, then this container would be running in the background. So it's running in in foreground. So let's check that. Are we able to access that application on 8082 port? Yes, we are able to access the application. You can see the logs here as well, right? What we tried. Now the next thing is, if we do Control-C, it will exit the container, and if you verify whether container is up and running or not, we can execute the same command. You can see that the last one got exited in 12 seconds, right? But the first container what we created and started the container with using 2 steps, that is still up and running, because by default when we use the start command, it runs the container in background. If you want to run your container in background, you can use, while running the container, you can mention -d, and here you have to mention the another container name. Why? Because as I said, right, whenever we use run command, it first creates, so it will go ahead and try to create a container having the name web server 1. As we have already one container there with web server 1, it will conflict and it won't allow you to move ahead. So if you want to see that, let's try that. So we are getting this error. It's saying that error response from this conflict, the container web server is already in use by container, right? So that's the reason we have to change the name of the containers. Okay, so this time we have used -d. It means this container will start in background. Okay, so and we will get a ID. So we got an ID here, and let's say, what is this ID? Okay, let's verify that. So if you go docker, okay, so you can see this, right? This is the ID, first few digits, right, or alphabets. So now we have the container up and running in the background on 8082 port, and if you want to verify, you can just reload this. You will be able to access this. Okay, so far we learned about create, start, and then run. That's it about this video. If you really liked it, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you very much for watching my video.